Ever feel like the internet is just this giant comment section that never sleeps? Now imagine you're responsible for like wrangling that chaos for a living. That's the life of a community manager.
Yeah, it's one of the the HOD jobs out there, but
Yeah, it's changing so
yeah,
fast.
it's changing faster than we can keep up with almost, I think.
Yeah, and to try to like wrap our heads around it, we're doing a deep dive into a couple of articles from the French digital marketing scene.
Okay.
One is Community Manager, the 7 key skills to master to make a difference in 2024.
Okay.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The other one is about responsible marketing, which sounds, completely different, but
Yeah.
but stick with us because
Yeah.
it's really interesting how these two things connect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the piece about responsible marketing is essential to this conversation because being a good community manager today means understanding the responsibility that comes with having a platform and a voice in the digital world. It's
Yeah.
about connecting authentically and ethically, it's tough when you're dealing with as many voices and opinions as you do as a community manager.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, one of the articles actually says that community managers are the first rampart against fake news and the ones who have to like extinguish the fire when things get, out of control online.
It's a high pressure job, and it really gets to the heart of why that responsibility piece is so important these days.
Yeah.
You can't just be clever or try to grab attention anymore. You
Hmm.
need to build actual trust with your audience, and that starts with being ethical, transparent, and responsive, even when you're facing negative feedback and criticism.
Which, let's be honest, is gonna happen,
Oh yeah, that's part of it, right?
especially when you're dealing with the entire internet.
Hmm.
Speaking of negativity, though, one of the people they quote in the article, Medina Kone, she teaches digital marketing.
Okay.
She had a really interesting take on dealing with negative reviews.
What does she have to say?
She's not afraid of them.
Okay.
She thinks that negative reviews can be really valuable. Instead of like dreading them, community managers should see them as an opportunity to really demonstrate what their brand is about.
To kind of like show what they stand for, you mean?
Yeah, like how they handle those situations with empathy can turn what could be a PR disaster into a moment of like real connection.
So it's less about like putting out fires and more about really showing your audience that you care, showing
Yeah.
them that you're not just a faceless company or brand, but that there are actual humans behind the logo and the posts and that you're
It
listening.
makes a big difference.
Yeah, it really does. And that ability to be responsive and responsible, it's what really sets apart a good community manager from just someone who's, posting on social media. They are truly the human face of a brand, especially in a world where customer service, PR, and marketing are all kind of converging online.
Which also means that the skills you need to actually be good at this job are changing too.
Oh, for sure. It's not enough to just be good at social media anymore.
Right. You need a whole new toolkit to really thrive as a community manager.
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to unpack today as we kind of dig into those 7 key skills for really mastering the future of community management.
All right, so the community manager job description just went from like posting memes to like digital firefighter diplomat with a side of empathetic listener.
It's a lot, right?
It's a lot. So how do you even begin to build the skills you'd need to actually do this?
Well, good news is the article breaks it down into 7 key skills.
Okay, seven's doable.
And these aren't just for aspiring community managers, by the way. These are valuable for anyone who's trying to navigate, this increasingly digital world we live
And I
in.
like the sound of that.
Right.
So where do we even start? What's skill number 1?
It all starts with curiosity.
Okay.
But not just any curiosity. We're talking about a deep understanding of online culture, those communities of behavior that the article mentioned.
So more than just knowing your grumpy cat from your Doge meme.
Way more. It's about understanding the nuances of how different groups online, how they communicate their humor, their values, what they're sensitive to. What might be hilarious in one corner of the internet could totally backfire somewhere else.
Which, I mean, makes sense when you think about how much like miscommunication and conflict we see online.
Exactly. One wrong move and you've got a PR nightmare on your hands.
So you got to be careful.
You got to be careful. So that leads us to skill number 2, developing your own style as a community manager.
Wait, I thought you were supposed to be the voice of the brand, not your own like personal brand.
Right. But even within that, there's room for individuality. Think about
Yeah.
brands like Wendy's or Netflix. They've really mastered this whole, like, relatable but kind of sassy voice online.
Yeah, they're definitely memorable.
Exactly. And you instantly know it's them, right? They found that sweet spot where the brand's personality comes through, but it's also engaging and you trust them, and it doesn't feel like they're just like spitting out marketing copy at you.
So it's like personal branding, but for a company.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. All right, what's next?
Well, not every interaction online is going to be positive, right?
That's the internet for you.
So skill number 3 is all about how you handle bad buzz.
Ah, yes. The inevitable PR crisis.
And as the article pointed out, this isn't something you can just pass off to customer service anymore. Community managers are often the first line of defense when something blows up online.
So speed is key.
Speed and the right tone. It's about staying calm, acknowledging the issue, and responding authentically and empathetically. And knowing when to loop in other teams like legal or whatever if things escalate. Because in the digital age, word travels fast, right?
Yeah.
How you handle a crisis can make or break your brand's reputation.
It's true. I feel like there was some old saying about, like, it takes years to build trust, but only seconds to destroy it.
Yeah.
And that's, like, even more true now with social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of things that are changing super fast, let's talk about skill number 4. AI mastery, but with a human touch.
Okay, that sounds like kind of a paradox. How do you master AI without losing, like, the human element?
It's all about finding the right balance. AI tools are getting more and more sophisticated every day. They can schedule posts, they can generate content, even analyze data. But the key is to use them strategically, not let them take over completely.
Right, so you don't want to become a robot yourself?
Exactly. People can tell when something's automated and impersonal. It's about using AI to work smarter, not harder, but still bring your own unique voice and perspective to the table.
So maybe you use AI for, like, scheduling, but then you write all your replies yourself, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You're augmenting your abilities, not replacing them.
Yeah.
And speaking of augmenting, that brings us to what might be the most human skill of all: empathy.
Okay.
The article actually calls the community manager the humanity of a brand, which I think is pretty spot on.
It's a powerful way to put it. So how do you actually cultivate empathy in such a vast and often impersonal space like the internet?
It starts with being present, truly listening to what people are saying, even if it's, just a quick comment or a like. Because you got to remember that behind every screen name, there's a real person with real thoughts and feelings.
Which is easy to forget sometimes when you're dealing with, like, thousands, maybe even millions of followers,
Absolutely.
Sure.
That's why it's so important to personalize those interactions as much as you can. Make people feel seen, respond to their comments thoughtfully, acknowledge different perspectives, even just like using emojis in a way that feels genuine and relatable. Those small gestures go a long way.
It's all about building real connections, even in the digital space, which, let's be honest, can be exhausting. How do you keep up with it all? I mean, the internet changes so fast.
That's skill number 6, staying ahead of the curve. Coney mentioned in the article that her digital marketing program is already teaching students about things like podcast marketing and how to, like, navigate all the latest algorithm changes. The digital world moves fast, and if you're not learning and adapting, you'll get left behind.
So always be learning. Got it. Okay, what's the final skill? What's number 7 in our quest for community management mastery?
The article put it in a really interesting way. Be a reporter.
A reporter. I thought we were talking about community management, not, like, journalism.
I know, it sounds kind of strange, right? But think about it. Good reporters are naturally curious. They ask questions, they dig for information, and they're able to explain even really complex topics in a way that's engaging and interesting. Those are all really essential skills for a community manager too, right?
Because you're essentially reporting on the world of your brand.
Exactly. You're constantly gathering information, whether it's from your audience, your competitors, or just like what's happening in your industry. And then you use that information to figure out your strategy for engaging with your community in a way that's, informative, but also entertaining.
So you're kind of like a storyteller, a curator, and a trend spotter all rolled into one.
Exactly. And as overwhelming as it sounds, it's also really exciting because at the end of the day, community management is all about connecting with people, building those relationships, creating a sense of belonging, which is more important now than ever before in our increasingly digital world. And those skills will never go out of style.
So we've journeyed through the 7 essential skills of a modern community manager, from cultural chameleon to AI whisperer to empathy champion.
And let's not forget master storyteller.
Right. But here's the thing that really struck me. Even if you're not like planning to quit your job tomorrow and become, head of social media somewhere, these skills are valuable, like for everyone, I think.
I completely agree with that. I think that's a really important point. We're all navigating this increasingly digital world, and these skills they're becoming essential for anyone who wants to communicate effectively, build relationships, even just like understand how these online communities actually work, you know,
It's like we're all kind of becoming community managers in a way.
in a way. Yeah.
Whether we're, running a small business or building our own personal brand or just trying to have better conversations with people online.
Yeah, and that means understanding things like online culture, how to communicate responsibly and ethically, even how to use those AI tools to your advantage, because they can be really powerful if you know how to use them right.
For sure. And that whole AI piece is like only getting bigger, right? So how do we embrace these tools without losing that human touch that makes online interaction, actually meaningful?
It's about balance.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier using AI for like scheduling posts, but then actually writing those personal replies yourself. That's a great example of working smarter, not harder. Using technology to free up time and energy for those things that really require that human touch.
Like building genuine connections and
Yeah.
and fostering a sense of community, which
Right.
which brings me back to something the article mentioned. Be curious. It's such a simple idea, but in the context of all this, like it takes on this whole new meaning.
Yeah, it does, because curiosity, it's the foundation of learning, of growth, and in a world that's changing as fast as the internet, it's more important than ever to stay curious, to ask questions, and to be open to new ideas and new perspectives.
So for our listeners who are like really intrigued by all this, what's one thing, like one simple step they could take to kind of put this into action, to be more curious in their digital lives?
Think about the online communities you're already a part of. It could be a Facebook group or a subreddit, or even just like the comment section on a website you visit a lot.
Yeah.
And instead of just passively scrolling, take some time to actually observe, like really pay attention to what's happening. What are those unspoken rules? What kind of content gets the most engagement? The most likes, the most comments? What sparks those really interesting conversations?
Yeah. It's almost like becoming like a digital anthropologist, right?
Right.
Studying the behaviors and interactions of these different like online tribes.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised what you learn just by paying attention, because those insights, they can teach you so much about effective communication, about community building, even just like human nature in the digital age.
And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll discover you've got a hidden talent for community management along the way.
It could happen. But even if you don't end up becoming a community manager, the skills you learn from being, just a curious and engaged person online, those are invaluable.
Absolutely. So stay curious, keep learning, and remember, in this vast, ever-changing landscape of the internet, the most important connections are still those human-to-human connections.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of community management. Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and as always, thanks for listening.